Facebook.
or is it memorized?
Give us a second. 10 seconds and we're ready to go. Well, good. Finally, Friday morning, 4 minutes past the hour of 10 o'clock. We're already up to 48 degrees here at the K-Rim Cottage on West Frontier in Payson. But warming it up even more, as we always do on Fridays, it's time for your hometown movie guys who are all in their places with bright, shining faces. How y'all doing today?
Swell.
Swell, in a word.
Peachy.
Peachy, and from the...
You're not supposed to ask
Awesome.
him.
That time someone got a little more
I'm
creative
supposed
there.
to ask him.
Yeah, that's right. Don't ask.
We're pretending now.
Yeah, right, I know.
That's right. Ask me no questions, I'll tell you no lies. So,
God bless modern pharmaceuticals. That's all I
I
want to
know.
say.
Better living through chemicals.
yeah, okay. Not really sure where to go next with that, but okay. It's always good to have you guys in here, and of course,
You're right.
They pay me to say this stuff. All right. Anyway, it's always good to have you in here, and we do this every Friday morning, and we do the first half hour just on K-Rim, on K-Rim FM over the airwaves, and also Facebook Live. But we also keep the Facebook Live thing going for an extended half hour, so we can say things that sometimes aren't airworthy, and we hope that you'll check in with us today as we
Airworthy?
airworthy.
Is that it?
Yeah, well, that's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
All right.
At any rate, so let's start off with getting all my buttons pushed here by finding out. Do we have anything new starting today at the theater?
We do. Judas and the Black Messiah.
Wow, now that's a title that I didn't see coming.
Yeah, no, no, this is about the Black Panthers.
Oh wow,
Back in 50s and 60s.
Right, in the early days.
Based on a true story.
Mhm.
And this is when they sent a FBI informant into the Black Panthers to kind of infiltrate and get information.
right.
Mhm.
Wow, that's interesting.
And that would be the Judas in the title.
Yes.
that would make sense, I guess.
Mhm.
And Fred Hampton would be the Black Messiah. Fred Hampton was the historical character that the movie is based upon.
Oh, interesting. And
Really?
so
I
this.
never heard of him before, and I was around then, in the 60s. I mean, the Black Panthers.
And I've gotten rounder and rounder as I've gotten older. But the bottom line is there's actually some really well-known actors in this too, isn't there?
Yes.
Do we know who they are?
It's Kulia.
Easy for you to say.
Yeah,
sure,
his first
yeah.
name's Daniel, so let's go with that.
Daniel, yes.
Okay.
Yeah, he's actually a British guy.
Huh.
The guy that plays Fred Hampton.
Do we know him from any other movies?
Oh, well, he played in Kick-Ass 2.
I missed the first one.
You're kidding!
I
Oh,
lead a show.
that is so sad. Those are both just terrific movies. They're really fun.
Really?
Yeah.
I missed it too.
Yeah, they're comic book movies, right?
Oh.
Yes, yeah. Was
wow.
that Claude Moretz
Yeah.
started
Oh,
those?
okay.
Interesting.
Yep.
So now,
But he is also, I mean, more recently in Get Out.
Mm.
should I? I
We've
could.
been telling you
Okay.
that for months.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. Widows.
Mm.
Widows is a heist movie with Liam Neeson.
Oh.
Right. Okay.
Actually, a very good heist movie. Come right down to it. And Liam Neeson, God bless him, is only in it very, very briefly. Only in it long enough to get a paycheck, and that was it.
As long as you're in it long enough to get a paycheck.
Yeah, and he's also in Black Panther.
Oh wow.
Oh,
Okay.
he is? Really?
Yeah, Black Panther, one of the, billion dollar
Oh, yeah.
movie.
Franchise,
I mean,
yeah.
it was a big movie.
That's three bigs.
Yep.
Are there any other big names in this one? Speaking of big.
No, yeah, well, I mean, not that Daniel Kaluuya, I don't know how to pronounce it. It's
Why do they have these, actors used to change their names. I mean,
Sounds like a
you know,
gastrointestinal
you
disorder.
had Norma Jean Baker become Marilyn Monroe. You
Right.
had Archibald Leach
I
become
thought it was Norma
Cary-
Jean Riley.
Yeah, and, no, it's
That's a country song, sorry.
And you know, Archibald Leach became Cary Grant. What the fluff, man? What, you know, how come? You know?
Well, I don't know.
It's a distinctive name.
Ty is joining us on Facebook Live. Maybe he's got an answer. We'll find out in a minute.
Hi, Ty.
As is,
Hi, Ty.
looks like Carrie Ann is also with us as well today. Thanks for joining.
Anyway, the other leading actor is Lakeith Stanfield, who's an American.
Uh-huh.
And he also played in Get Out. He played in Knives Out, another one that you've missed, but was
Yeah.
really a terrific little movie.
That was a good movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
With starring James Bond. James Bond as a Tidewater guy that talked like Leghorn Foghorn.
Hmm.
Well,
He was shaken, not stirred.
and,
Okay.
and he was also had a role in The Girl in the Spider's Web.
You know, it's interesting how just the things that sometimes some of our hometown movie guys say in passing becomes such a big deal to others. Pamela is watching, and she said, "What the fluff? Going to use that." Good morning, everyone.
Oh, well, that is from, I have to give credit where credit is due. There's a wonderful.
That's very generous of you. I rarely do that.
Well, I know I do, so I have to make up for you. There's a wonderful Facebook, it's like a little thing that people tune into. It's called Charlie the Golden. And Charlie the Golden is a golden retriever with a brother Buddy, sister Daisy, and little brother Herbie. And I mean, these are 4 big dogs. 2 of them are golden retrievers, two of them are Newfoundlands. And then the pictures of them and then with the captions. And that's one of the captions, "What the fluff?"
Well, when it comes to big dogs, all I can tell you is, man, can I relate? My
Yeah.
eldest granddaughter turning 21. She's going on a little road trip, so we're taking care of her car or her. It's about the size of a car.
That
her
is
dog.
unbelievable that you
Wow.
have a granddaughter
You're so
that's 21 years
old.
old.
Yeah, well, my
Heavens.
wife and I got married when we were 5.
Yeah.
But at any rate, and if you believe that, I have some swampland in Geisela for you. But at any rate, we were taking care of her dog, which we went down and picked up last evening, and
What kind of
from-
dog?
it's a Chesapeake Bay Retriever.
Oh, I know
Ooh.
those.
Yeah, this is like a 120-pound dog.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
this is like
They're cool.
just slightly smaller than a Tyrannosaurus Rex.
I know.
And,
But
we had-
they're not that fluffy. I mean, they have hair. Yeah,
Oh
they
yeah.
have hair.
Oh, yeah. It's
And remember,
kind
I
of-
have chow, so I'm really what the
Yeah.
fluff.
Well, anyway, we got a total of maybe 3 hours of sleep in 15-minute doses last night. And
Oh.
so anyway, if I seem a little more distracted than usual, that's my
No,
cheap
you seem
excuse.
fine.
What does he know? So let's get back to talking about movies because that's what we're here for. By the way, good
Dogs.
morning to Darcy, to Carrie Ann, to Jolene, and to Mark, who are all joining us on Facebook Live right now. So as far as this, the title of the movie again with Black
Judas and the Black Messiah.
and this is hitting theaters everywhere today.
Yes.
All right, and now I assume, based on the subject matter that you spoke of, with this being a true historical look back at the Black Panther movement back in the 60s and such, that this is probably a pretty significant drama.
Oh, yeah.
I'm also,
Oh, yeah, definitely,
I'm also
definitely.
assuming that this is probably rated R.
Rated R. Yes.
So this is not one to take the kids to.
Oh no.
So that gives you, I mean, I like stuff that's based on history. I mean, even if the story is not something I necessarily identify with, I just think it's, those who fail to learn from history are destined to repeat it, right?
But what I want to know is, do they romanticize the Black Panthers?
Yeah, well,
Because as I remember, they were not. They were really creepy, and there were people who infiltrated them, and they committed murders and all kinds of terrible stuff.
I'm not
so.
sure it's gotten a lot better, but yeah. I still think it'd be interesting to watch,
Yeah.
though. And that's just one of the movies playing at the Sawmill Theaters.
And I know that you were about to ask, what about Rotten Tomatoes?
Of course, that is always my next question. That's why I have this red microphone cover in front of me, in case I just need to start chewing.
97% fresh.
97% fresh.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Whoa.
And let's not forget when we go to see this movie, just keep in the back of your mind that the Black Panthers were a Marxist revolutionary movement.
They were.
So you have to see everything through that prism.
To what it really is, yeah. Makes sense. Wow, it's going to be an interesting one to watch, though.
It will be. It will be. There's a little bit of Academy buzz for this too.
Wow.
We got the Academy Awards coming up. That all got pushed back because of the plague. Another thing, but yeah, those are coming up. So
I wonder if Hillbilly Elegy will get anything.
that started out looking good and it just really kind of fell off.
Good.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Interesting. And by the way, good morning to Julie, Vicky, and Valerie, who are joining us on Facebook
Hi,
Live.
Valerie.
If you haven't done it yet, go on to Facebook and look for KRIM FM, and we got a little live shot coming to you from inside the studio this morning as we talk with our hometown movie guys. So we talked about Judas and the Black Messiah as being one movie that starts today. What else is playing?
But we still have The Little Things.
The Little Things.
Denzel Washington,
Right.
Jared Leto,
How's that been doing?
done real good.
Yeah.
Yeah, everybody's liking that.
Now, has there been any Academy Award talk on that movie?
I don't think so, no.
I mean, Denzel. I mean, usually, I mean, I think he could
Yeah.
you know, show up at the cafeteria and get an award probably. But that sounds interesting. So, and this is what, week number 2 on that? Or 3?
Yeah, we just finished up our second week, so the
It's got
start of the third week.
Remy Malek in it too,
Okay.
and it's good. I mean, it's the thinking person's mystery.
So what movie did the two of you go see last week? You usually
Oh.
head out on Fridays and watch a movie.
Our friend.
Oh my gosh.
You have a friend?
That's the title of the movie.
Oh, okay, that clears it.
I
Don't
went-
want to mislead you.
I went with him, and so we posed as friends.
There you go.
but, Yeah,
right.
oh, so good. Everybody needs to see this. Hello, everybody. Go see this movie. It is so good.
The little
I think,
people.
what?
What?
Our friend.
Our friend.
Yeah.
We're past
It's
the
a
little
true
people.
story, and it's so beautiful. And, you know, I would like to see something like that get an Academy
So
Award.
give us once again the Reader's Digest condensed version of this true story.
Okay.
Lady gets sick and dies.
The end. Brought to you by Maylocks.
It's got Casey Affleck, Dakota Johnson, who is transcendently wonderful,
Hmm.
and who is the other gentleman who is who plays
Jason Segel.
Jason Segel.
Is the friend.
And it is a true story about selfless friendship and just the relationships that, you know, that struggle when somebody is dying.
Right.
And man, I love this movie. I mean, I'll go see it again. I'll see it several times. I love it.
Very interesting.
Yeah, we have different interpretations, I guess.
Okay, and so
I thought Jason Segel was so desperate to dump this girl that he was hanging around with that he moved 400 miles away to live with a woman who's dying.
well,
You know, you're so
man, he really needed to get away bad.
No, this was, you know what? Shut up. This happened, and Casey Affleck is a writer, and he ended up writing not about his wife's dying, which, you know, that was
Tangential.
the original idea was to chronicle this tragic event,
Mhm.
you know, 2 small kids, but he ended up writing about the friend who was there for him.
Right.
And I saw a picture totally different from my cynical friend here, of a real true friendship that was just, you hope that you could either have or be a friend like that.
Okay.
I loved it. I just
Yeah.
loved it. Yeah.
Well, and I mean,
And as you can read in the Payson Roundup today, on
Right.
page 7,
on page 7,
you read my review.
you're moving up closer to the front all the time.
No,
It's
he's
taking
stuck,
a while.
he's stuck on page 7.
And he said, some movies just take our heart out for a while and give it a good sound ringing, simply to make sure it works the way it should.
Yeah.
Well, you know, I think people that have helped someone through the whole dying process, this is going to, you know, really touch. But I think even skeptics like you, I mean, it sounds like it tore your heart out and slapped it around a little bit.
Yeah, it's impossible not to be emotionally engaged.
Mm-hmm.
And the performances are wonderful.
Yeah,
They really are.
Dakota Johnson,
She's
you
amazing.
know, we know her best from her multi-billion-dollar series, which I won't mention, but it was very popular. But she manages to get both the pathos of this woman who's, you know, she's young and she's got cancer, and you know, there's just no coming back from it. It's just terrible.
Right.
But she has moments where you just hate her because she's so nasty, so mean, and to have the courage to bring out that aspect of the dying process as well, I thought was incredibly
Yeah.
brave.
Yeah.
Very interesting. Well, that sounds good. An interesting
And
possibility.
remember, her pedigree is she is the daughter of Don Johnson and Melanie Griffith
And the granddaughter of,
of
Tippi Hedren.
Tippi, that's right, Tippi Hedren.
Yeah,
Right.
very cool.
yeah, Randy knew that and you didn't.
Well, I did, but it's early. And I only drank
More
half-
coffee, more coffee.
Yeah, there's never enough coffee.
God bless Juan Valdez, wherever he is. By the way, good morning to Nicole joining us this morning.
Nicole, we love you.
Nicole says, good morning.
I
from
love her more.
Black and Tan, listen every Friday. Appreciate it, Nicole. We'd like to compliment you on your amazing sense of good taste. Also, Kelly joining us, Ashley, Susan, Andrea, and Mark also joining us on Facebook Live right now.
Oh,
Thanks.
We're getting a following.
Yeah.
Yay. We like
And
to be followed.
Ramona just joined us as well. Now, so we've talked about 3 different movies.
Our friend, by the way, they only spent $10 million to make this thing, and
What's the returns been?
let's not talk about that. But
Okay.
they did manage to get 3 really very accomplished actors to play the 3 leads, which I think is amazing with a budget that small. I think the actors realized that this was an important film that they wanted to be associated with.
Right.
Cool.
Well, it's the kind of film that, a little indie film, it doesn't have any preachy PC caca, and it doesn't, it's just a really nice movie, the kind that both entertains and moves you. And, I hope for the sake of seeing a good movie and the Sawmill Theater, please go and see this on the big screen. It's
Well,
wonderful.
if you're thinking about,
Yeah.
taking your honey out, this might be a good one to take, take the girls to, because they'll probably get all misty-eyed and want to, lean up against your shoulder and
Oh,
wipe
it's
their
totally
snot
a
on your sleeve or
Valentine's
something.
Day movie,
Oh,
because
really?
it's about true love.
Cool. What a
It's
perfect thing for this weekend.
There you
Valentine's
go.
Day. Gotta love
Yeah.
it. Okay, so we're not going to talk about the returns on that, though, huh?
No, we're certainly not.
Aw.
Okay. So now what else?
Another good Valentine's Day movie.
Moving
was,
right along.
Yeah, Wonder Woman 1984.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
That's a good Valentine's movie.
Well, you see Gal Gadot dressed up in golden armor with wings. Boy, oh boy, nothing says Valentine's Day like that.
That's all we got.
Yeah.
I'm sitting here between the two of them going,
Yeah, whatever's right.
what the fluff, right?
Hey, by the way, just to keep you updated here, I need to go back. Where was it? Emily said she followed up from our comment just a little bit ago and said, "Love you guys too."
Oh,
And,
we love you more.
Deborah, yeah, Deborah has joined us. Kim and Jesse also joined along with us on Facebook Live.
Howdy,
Thanks for
howdy.
coming.
Hey.
Anything else playing this week?
Sure.
Yeah, we still got The Marksman.
Yeah.
The Marksman.
Another good Valentine's Day movie.
Kind of like shooting an arrow into the sky. Well, anyway, and who's in that again?
It's Liam Neeson.
Liam Neeson,
Oh, that's right,
of
that's
course.
right. And man, he's been in so many shoot 'em up movies. And to me, I'm maybe the only person that thinks this way, but he doesn't really impress me as having that kind of persona. But he does play those parts well. But I mean, as opposed to when you look back at some characters like Charles Bronson. I'm going back quite a ways for some of you younger people. This is right after the dinosaurs died off. There's been some of those kind of characters down through history that had the chiseled face and the biceps and everything that kind of went along with the package. And maybe it's just me, but Liam Neeson just kind of surprises me. He doesn't seem that way, but he does play the part well.
Well, he's got that voice too.
Yeah.
You know, kind of a like Clint Eastwood, Dirty Harry.
Yeah.
Kind of same type of.
Yeah.
Yeah, like in Taken, where he says, "I will find you. I have a particular skill set, and I will find you, and I will kill you." And he did.
And
He's good to his word.
Yeah.
Film at 11.
Yes.
There were good lines, but when it comes down to Clint Eastwood, I don't think there's too many people that could pull off that kind of thing any better than that. What do you think? Well, punk. Do you? Anyway, there was some good stuff there, but Liam Neeson seems to be doing nothing but making a bunch of money these days.
Yeah, well, he's making a lot of movies.
Yeah.
They're not real high budget films, but he's been cranking them out. He's supposed to be retiring from the whole action film thing also.
And those films have not done well. Except for Taken.
The Taken,
And
the
Taken 2 and
franchise,
Taken
right.
3.
Yeah.
They did spectacularly
Yeah.
well. But these other ones, the marksman's not burning up the pavement. None of these movies, Walk in the Graveyard, the Commuter. He makes one of these about every year, and they're not really moneymakers.
He keeps the paycheck rolling in, though. By the way, good morning to Jesse, Violenda, and Jody also joining us on
Yay.
Facebook Live.
Hi, Jesse.
Hello.
Okay, so what else?
We got our kids classics going.
Oh, wait,
That's right.
What about
And,
the Crude?
Crudes is still hanging in here. We got that just at 4 o'clock now.
Okay,
But yeah, our kids classics, $2, go see a kids movie. We got Surf's Up at 2 and Happy Feet at 6.
and that's tomorrow, right?
No, starting today.
Oh, starting today.
I
Wow.
can see Happy Feet today.
For just $2.
$2.
Yeah.
But bring another couple extra bucks along because the popcorn at the concession stand is outstanding.
And just an aside here, Crudes 2, which
Right.
is a sequel to The Crudes.
Also known as Crudes 1.
Well, now I suppose. Of all the movies that we've mentioned, it is the only one that is profitable.
Wow.
Yeah.
And you know,
And it's making money hand over fist.
that's it, you know, it's interesting, but potentially a little sad too. Craig, how much of that would you attribute to just, you know, this whole COVID-19 thing and people haven't been going out as much? I mean, have some of these movies really just, I think the technical term has been little stinkers, or are people, you know, just starting to get back into the theaters again?
Well, with the Crudes, it came out on Thanksgiving. So
Okay.
yeah, it's been out for
3 months.
three months, yeah. And it's been the only kids movie that's out also. So it's Crudes is still like a top 5 film
Wow.
in the nation, and you know, during normal times that would not happen.
Right.
So yeah, it's just kind of a little bit of a lack of product. You know, people don't have much choice for kids films.
And for the kids' classics, again, starting today, the two were
Surf's Up and Happy Feet.
outstanding. And again,
They're
that's
both Penguin movies.
Yes,
it'll make you shake your tail.
they're both fun films.
And that's at 2 o'clock?
2 o'clock and 6 o'clock.
2 and 6, dig it, gotta love it. And of course, you can always find out what's playing and when it's playing by just going online to sawmilltheaters.com, and they'll keep you updated there on all that good stuff. And of course, on Fridays, we try to do the same here on K-Rim's Community Spotlight with our hometown movie guys. And in our second half hour, we'll be coming to you exclusively on Facebook Live, and gonna deal with just kind of topics du jour. And if you have a question for one of our hometown movie guys, feel free to post that question up on Facebook, and we'll try and see what we can find out. Because you know, these guys are experts and they know everything. At least that's what they say.
Tina is an expert.
Which is nothing more than a former drip under pressure.
That's
if,
right. I'm a wealth of useless knowledge.
There you go.
And if we don't know, we'll make it up.
That's
Yeah,
right.
That's right.
You can trust us to do
Who's
that.
gonna know?
That's right.
Well, I mean, they're watching us now. They can see us go on Google, you know. That in the old days, that wasn't true. We could pull it off and sound way more erudite than we were. Now we're
I
exposed.
was just talking to somebody yesterday, and I think it was Susan Starr yesterday, or the day before, out in Star Valley. She's just recently written a book, and we're going to have her on the show here soon. Written a book about her years spent training dogs for search and rescue, and all of the different experiences. And then the dog that she had that was so amazing passed away a while back, and she just goes through a lot. It's like, I don't know how many pages it is. It's a good sized book, about so thick, and I sat down and couldn't put it down until it was done.
Really?
It was,
Nice.
and she self-published, and I'm looking forward to having her in here. But at any rate, one of the things we're going to talk about in the next half hour is, you know, whatever's on the mind of these folks, which can take us a lot of different directions. And of course, again, you can chime in with your points of view. One of the questions that we were just having some fun discussing before going on the air today was favorite television sitcoms. And in a period of about 30 seconds, there was a number of shows that were mentioned that, you know, took me back, and that, wow, I really used to enjoy that. And we don't seem to be having a lot of that these days. It seems, at least in my estimation. Of course, I'm rapidly turning into an old curmudgeon, but yeah, I just don't find a whole lot entertaining on TV these days. So I watch boring documentaries and then go outside and watch the sunset.
Yeah.
That always works.
You know, the whole streaming thing has changed everything there too.
You know, as far as how people get the stuff delivered to them, yeah, there's, you know, I never really thought that that whole downloading stuff from the web would really work, or streaming it from the web, but boy, it has really taken off, especially, I think this pandemic has kind of helped with some of that as well.
Sure.
Oh, sure, yeah, people
Yeah.
staying home. We're looking, you know, the Academy Award thing, Netflix, they're pretty sure they'll have 4 films nominated for Best Picture.
Really?
That were
The-
just produced and
From
aired on
Net-
From
From
Netflix.
Netflix.
Netflix movies.
Right.
Now that says,
Wow.
volumes right there.
That's
It's,
a big shift.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Careful how you pronounce that. All right, we have to take a break here on the radio and get you back to more of your favorite music. We have some tunes coming up from, ooh, I like it, Santana, The Romantics, Dire Straits, The Who, and a whole bunch more. But
Dire
first, a quick look at
Straits.
Rim Country weather. And those of you that switch over to Facebook Live, join us for the conversation for the next half hour with
I
our
haven't heard the
hometown
Talking
newscast.
Heads all day.
That's all we all hear is Talking Heads.
There.
Weather forecast.
Came
for-
back nicely.
Yeah.
That was nicely
Take
played.
me to the river.
Could have gone a lot
Oh,
of different
yeah,
directions with
yeah,
that.
yeah.
Well, at any rate, and I mean, I want to talk movies. By the way, hello to Debbie, Juan, Gerald, Marianne, and Lisa joining us on Facebook Live. Appreciate you
Juan.
coming along.
Hey.
But when it does come up, I just want to do this real quick because I found that so intriguing when we were talking before. Favorite television sitcoms of all time. If you were going to pick just one that was the best, what would it be, Andy?
WKRP in Cincinnati.
Good choice. Good
That
choice.
is a good choice.
That was one of my favorites. And of course, out of all of those, the absolute best was the turkey drop on Thanksgiving. I mean, that's still just priceless.
One could
for sure.
not do that today.
Well, I go online and watch it every year. But they were writing some great scripts back then.
They
And
were.
it seems like what we consider to be humor these days has changed, and it seems like we're pushing politics a lot more than just having fun. What was that one thing we've talked about here before, where Blazing Saddles has been re-edited for television?
Yes.
The new edition is now 6.3 minutes long.
Yes.
But Blazing Saddles was another great comedy
Yeah.
movie. What about favorite television sitcom of all
I'll
time?
go with Monty Python.
Ooh,
I mean,
Monty
really,
Python's
that's
Flying
the-
Circus,
yes.
the daily or the weekly
Monty
thing.
Python's Flying Circus.
Yes, Circus.
Circus.
That was on Channel 8 PBS,
Yes,
and
it
once a
was.
week. And man, we used to watch it
And
religiously.
not only was it great, it had no commercials because it was on public radios, I mean public TV. And then a modern one today, and people really need to check this out on Netflix, The IT Crowd. It's a British comedy series, a bit like a Monty Python. It has the sort of the silliness, the outrageousness.
I missed that. That's
It's wonderful.
the IT Crowd.
The IT Crowd, yes. Excuse me, and it is British, and it has the same zaniness as Monty Python.
I'll have to check that out. And that's again on Netflix.
I believe so.
By the way, hello to Lisa, Sherry, and Jerry, who are now on with us on Facebook Live. What about you, Craig, when it comes to favorite sitcoms on television of all time?
Going back, probably MASH.
Ooh,
Oh,
MASH.
I'll
That
go with
was
that as well,
that
yeah.
was an award winner for
You know,
sure.
we were talking earlier too, Netflix again, The Norseman. That's a new one too, about Vikings, and it's just hilarious.
A Viking comedy.
Viking
Well,
comedy.
You're making fun of my
Just,
Norwegian
uh,
ancestors there.
You don't really put those in the same sentence very
I-
often, do you? Viking and comedy.
Oh, they pull it off. It's so
It's
good.
Yeah.
It's so good.
Well, and I'd like to ask those joining us on Facebook Live, what's your favorite television sitcom of all time and why? Now, as far as, while we're talking humor, which in this day and age we can't talk about it enough, favorite comedy movie of all time, Craig? If you were going to pick just one movie that was your favorite.
Oh, wow, that's a tough one. Some of the classics, Animal House.
Ooh, is it? Yeah.
Caddyshack.
Animal House is back on Netflix, by the way.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Wow,
I just
very
saw it last night. I
Yeah,
mean, that it was there. Yeah.
Deadpool.
Yeah.
Cool.
Have a little
Okay.
more,
I haven't seen that for 3 days.
It's been so long, I hardly remember it.
Some of these superhero films, Deadpool, Guardians of the Galaxy.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
Deadpool is really funny. Oh my goodness.
Well, you know,
I've seen it 17 times.
only 17.
Yeah.
And I still just laugh out loud.
Well, in much the same vein, you had mentioned Monty Python before. Monty Python and the Holy Grail, I bet I've seen about that many times, and I
Yeah.
still find it entertaining. But it's that weird.
We're the knights that say me.
Yeah, that's right.
Bring us a shrubbery.
Yes. What? That's just a flesh wound. Yes. Anyway, and again, I think it goes back to, and I miss it a lot. But your point before about that.
Mother's a hamster and your father smells of elderberries.
Elderberries.
I fart in your general direction.
Ouch. But it's that edginess and that I mean there's un-PC, outrageous sort of British humor that I'm anxious to see the IT crowd now because
you'll
you say
love
it's
it.
kind of like that.
It's hysterical.
And I miss that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, just recently, the night before last, we watched Intolerable Cruelty by the Coen brothers with George.
Not funny.
Oh, hush. It was hysterical. I was laughing out loud.
Heartbreaking.
Oh, please. It had Catherine Zeta-Jones and George Clooney. George Clooney is hysterical. I mean, he's just so good. And then his sidekick, who plays the lawyer that is with him in the firm, a little cameo part. I mean, sort of happening all the way through. Just wonderful. This guy, he's a lawyer who cries at weddings, and then
Don't we all?
Billy Bob Thornton is in that. Oh my gosh, and Edward Herman. And some wonderful, and the great Jeffrey Rush. The first scene is just like beyond
Well,
hysterical.
Clooney started out in TV playing a doctor,
Yeah.
and he's a good-looking guy, and he off of that came a number of other parts that he played in various shows and movies and stuff. But the one that I thought was the biggest departure was also playing a pretty humorous character. And I suddenly can't remember the name of the darn movie.
Is it Oh Brother?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh Brother, Where Art
Well,
Thou?
that's a Coen. There's a Coen.
Yeah.
He and the Coens, do well together.
But that just wouldn't be a part that I would typically think, he'd be perfect for this.
Well, the same thing with Intolerable Cruelty. He plays an attorney, but there's like this caricature of this particular kind of predatory divorce attorney. And when he's sitting with the potential client, listening to, okay, why, what reasons do you have that you should divorce your spouse? He'll say, yes, and of course he beat you unmercifully. And this woman's going, no. Oh yes, he beat you unmercifully. The bruises didn't go away for weeks. And he puts everything on it, and then he looks at her and said, I can take this case. You gotta see
Lawyers.
it. You gotta see it, yeah.
Shakespeare and I have a very similar opinion.
Yes, we do, and I
No, was
So-
it Liar Liar?
Oh,
with
yeah,
Jim
with Jim
Carrey, where he
Carrey,
was
yeah.
a divorce lawyer, and
Yes.
then he's kind of cursed where he can't lie.
Right.
So yeah, he's trying to get through this divorce
That was
case,
a good
and yeah.
And he's played, some really outlandish roles. And after a while, it gets a little old, but in my opinion. But he has played, some pretty. Even the Grinch that stole Christmas. When he did that, who else could pull that off?
Right.
Well, we've talked about that before. Yeah, Jerry Lewis.
That same
yeah.
kind of.
He grated on some people too. He could be.
Yeah.
I'm not really a big Jerry Lewis fan.
But there are moments.
Hey, lady!
Yeah.
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 Right.
So what about so favorite comedy movie of all time?
Oh, that's a tough one. Well, just this week, I'm so fickle. Intolerable Cruelty, would have it. But when I look at classic stuff, I go back to Duck Soup with Groucho Marx, with the Marx Brothers.
Wow.
And there's that one scene where it's a pantomime, where Harpo and Chico are doing a mirror thing, and it's unbelievable how good they are, because they one of them thinks he's in front of a mirror, and it's not. It's his brother mirroring back to him. Just beautifully done. Yeah.
I don't know. I have a fairly respectable IQ, but yet still, I think one of my favorite comedies of all time would be Blazing Saddles, which is
Yeah.
anything but intellectual.
Yeah. I agree with that.
but that-
I'd have to put that up.
Sometimes just that break away from reality and just give me something outrageously, silly, where I can just, stop and, take time to
It's
laugh.
Hedy Lamarr. It's Hedley.
Hedley.
Lamar.
All right. So meanwhile, Andy's looking up what his favorite comedy of all time was.
He can't
The,
remember.
the jury is apparently still out on this.
I can't remember a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
It's probably just as well.
Right.
I know that
Okay,
feeling.
I
It's
found it.
merciful for
Okay.
all of us.
Rat Race.
Rat
I
Race.
love that movie.
Rat Race is a
Yes.
remake of, it's a mad world.
Yes. And it's got some great actors in it.
And it is quite a bit funnier than the original.
Yes, yeah.
Wow.
It has Mr. Bean in it, Rowan
Rowan Atkins,
Atkinson. Who else is in that? I love that movie.
John Lovitz.
Yes.
Now, let's stop for a
John
second.
Lovitz
This
does,
is wonderful.
yeah, he does a great bit.
And a lot of people knew him originally from Saturday Night Live.
Yes. When it
But
was,
but
when it was
Mr.
funny.
Bean,
Well,
that's another one of those.
These guys in Rat Race are gambling fanatics, and the thing starts out, they're in a suite in Vegas, and they're having a nice time, and they so they bring in the maid, and they have her hang from the curtain rod, and they bet how long she can hold on. That's how disturbed and fanatical these guys are.
Getting some insight towards some of the deep-seated inner hostilities that still exist in Andy's mind.
I mean, it's just, and then they invent this race, and they all bet on the race, and then the rest of the movie is having these people go through the race. It's just hysterical.
Oh, interesting. And it's called again?
Rat
Rat
Race.
Race.
Right.
Yeah.
How long ago was this?
Not too long.
Like the 80s, maybe?
The 80s weren't too long ago.
No.
Unless you're young.
Oh, no, I've lost it.
Right.
Oh,
Right?
poor me.
How about Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas?
Oh, yeah,
Ooh,
that is
there's-
very
Oh, my
good.
goodness.
Yeah, that's very good.
Of course, we couldn't talk about comedy movies without talking about Airplane.
Yep.
Yep.
Don't call me Shirley.
That's right. And please don't call me Shirley.
Right.
Yeah, this actually is one of my favorite books, and the movie I relish as well, with Johnny Depp, by the way.
Yes.
We were we were heading towards Las Vegas and the Great White Shark with the top down. We had a whole galaxy of uppers, downers, twisters, and screamers. We had a whole sheet of blotter acid and a jar of mescaline. But the only thing that really bothered
I hope that you're quoting
I'm
a
quoting,
movie.
I'm
Okay.
I'm like, I'm moving away from you.
but the only thing that really bothered me was the ether.
Thank God we all lived through that era. you know.
Yeah, yeah.
And then-
It was a good,
And then I saw the bats. There were huge bats and manta rays swooping and screaming around the car. I pulled over to the side of the road and turned to my attorney and said, "It's your turn to drive. I need to rest."
Yeah, that was Tobey Maguire that they picked up, the hitchhiker.
Oh, yeah.
That was Tobey
That was
Maguire.
Tobey Maguire,
Yeah,
Oh,
right.
God, that was funny. They examined they liked him because they liked the shape of his skull.
Creepy.
These two completely stoned whack jobs in a Cadillac convertible.
Well, I looked up something and I remembered that I loved it. Waking Ned Devine.
Oh,
How
Oh, wow.
great a movie is
perhaps
that?
the greatest movie ever made.
See how fickle we are.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
That's my.
But
that's
keep
my
in mind, he
very
was just
favorite-
talking about blotter
Wonderful.
acid too.
Wonderful, yeah.
It's my very favorite until I think of another one.
Yeah, exactly,
But
me too.
Waking Ned Devine
So
is
great.
hysterical.
Yeah, I know.
Interesting.
And I'm looking up this one. I can't remember the name
I
of it.
once
but-
showed that to a bunch of tweens, and they did not appreciate it at all.
Get it? I know. Yeah. Well, it was so cute. I really. And there's another one that it's about a funeral. It's about a family funeral, and it's just this comedy. Who is that? Is it Peter? The guy who's the short guy, the midget. Oh, you would know
Peter
him.
Dinklage.
Yes, Peter Dinklage. Oh, okay. I will look it up because that movie with Peter Dinklage is beyond hysterical. It's all about this family funeral. So,
Randy, you'd like Waking Ned Devine.
Oh.
I think I may have seen that. I
love
just I
that.
remember the
Yeah.
title, but I
Yeah.
Well, it's about this little teeny little village in Ireland, off in the middle of no place.
Right.
And Ned Devine wins the Irish sweepstakes, but he's dead.
He's
Ooh.
dead. And so, but they don't want it to go to waste or not be given to them. So the whole movie is,
The
you know,
village, the village unites.
that rises to the occasion to make sure that they can collect it in the name of Ned Devine. Very, very funny.
Well, when it comes to comedies, we'd also, I don't think anyone's mentioned it yet, but back in the day, it was awful darn funny in my world anyway, and that's Animal House.
Oh, yeah.
That was a
Oh,
fun.
yeah.
I just looked up online on, of course, whenever I have questions, I go to esquire.com
Mm.
for some reason. They're also talking about The Big Lebowski, Bridesmaids,
Right.
Oh, Bridesmaids, I love.
Bridesmaid is great.
Super Bad.
Oh, Death at a Funeral. That's the one with Peter
It's
Dinklage.
pretty good timing,
A
actually.
seriously good, funny movie. Yes.
How about When Harry Met Sally?
Yeah.
Okay, right.
Yeah.
Dazed and Confused.
Moments.
But Bridesmaids is really, really
Yeah.
funny.
It
I mean,
really
it's
is.
just laugh out loud, wet your pants funny.
And here's another one that Esquire's got listed as best comedies of all time that I've watched this. Sadly, I've tried to watch it twice, and
Frozen?
I think I've got Let It Go. Coming to America.
Oh, I like
Eddie Murphy's done a lot of really good stuff. I
And
love
there's a new one, apparently.
I love Beverly Hills
Yeah.
Cop and everything, but the Coming to America just, I don't know,
Yeah.
didn't really. Best in Show is another one. Shaun of the Dead.
Shaun of the Dead is a brilliant movie.
Meatballs.
By the way, Shaun of the Dead, in case you've forgotten me to
It's
say.
a zombie movie. Yes.
How about The Hangover?
Oh, the first one I
The first
thought was
one, yeah,
great.
not
Yeah.
the second or third
Yeah.
one, but yeah, the first one.
And then Bowfinger, you know, one of my,
Bowfinger.
with Eddie Murphy and Steve Martin, who wrote it. I mean,
Steve
it's-
Martin wrote that.
Yes, it's it is absolutely hysterical.
And it goes back to The Jerk. I
Yeah,
mean,
The Jerk.
there was
Steve Martin.
just some
Yeah.
funny stuff.
Somebody's shooting at cans.
I was born a poor black child. Napoleon Dynamite, Harold and Maude, Blockers, Girls Trip,
Girls Trip was awful.
Little Miss Sunshine.
Little Miss Sunshine, I thought,
How
had some
about
brilliant
Road
stuff.
Trip though?
Road Trip.
Road Trip, where they,
Take a road trip.
yeah, well, the
Oddly enough.
Middle-aged
the
motorcycles.
yeah, well, the guy sends a sex tape to his girlfriend by accident, not with her. And, yeah, so they have to try to get across country before the videotape arrives, and
Right.
yeah, it was Sean from American Pie.
I did not like.
You like American Pie?
No.
The first one was good too.
I thought the girl that played the flute was kind of neat.
Yeah,
Shame
yeah.
on you.
Yeah.
One in the band camp.
Esquire is saying Ghostbusters is another big
Yeah.
comedy. That wasn't bad.
Sure.
You know,
The remake was beyond dreadful.
oh, they did a remake of that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they tried.
Who knew?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's interesting.
You know,
though.
it's now that we're on comedies, you know, that so many of the really brilliant gutbuster comedies have John Cleese in them.
Right.
Yes, Fish Called Wanda.
A Fish Called
Yeah.
Wanda, and then
Yeah.
the follow-up to that was one called Fierce
Fierce
Creature.
Creatures. Yeah.
And both of those are
Right.
just
They are
absolutely
good.
hysterical. In fact, I might go home and watch them.
I agree, I need to, well, I wanna go find Death at a Funeral, because honestly, that's a laugh out loud. You've gotta see that.
Great title.
Oh, yeah, and it's, you know, it's a British movie with British humor, and there's just ghastly, funny stuff.
Hey, Ty's with us online right now. Ty, tell us what your favorite comedy movie of all time is.
Go for it.
I'm just anxious to hear what he has to say on that.
In Fierce Creatures, Jamie Lee Curtis finds herself much against her will drawn romantically to John Cleese, and it's all a mistake. She thinks things are happening that are not happening whatsoever,
Right.
and it makes him seem attractive to her.
Yes, Well, it's like, in in the Shakespeare, I think it's Midsummer Night's Dream, in which, the one of the characters is bewitched and falls in love with a donkey whom she thinks is her wonderful prince, yeah, that kind of,
Sounds like a chapter out of Shrek.
yeah, really, I know. Coen Brothers, Oh Brother, Where Art Thou is hysterical,
It is.
yeah.
Burn After Reading.
Oh, Burnout,
Oh,
oh, yes.
Is that
Burn
Coen
After
Brothers
Reading.
too?
Yeah. With Brad Pitt, and then Snatch, which is, Brad Pitt being the gypsy who has not one,
Syllable.
syllable that we understand except for one line, right?
Like my mom.
Yeah, Mom.
Well, you gotta pay homage to Mom.
Yeah.
But Burn After Reading
Oh,
is
that's
really
really
funny.
good, really good.
Now, are there any?
And one that didn't work, at least didn't work for me, was Men Who Stare at Men Who Stare at Goats.
Yeah.
Uh,
Was that,
I-
was
Hey.
that a Coen though?
I don't know,
I don't
but
think it was, but it's George Clooney.
George Clooney.
Ty answered my question and brought up a movie that I don't believe we've ever talked about, but I think he's right. I don't know. For you, it might be the best of all time. For me, it was right up there. Arthur.
Oh,